Hi, I'm Christina, and this is New Ways Podcast. Today, I want to share with you guys my spiritual journey. I want to give you a little inside scoop into my life and how I kind of got to where I'm at today with my spirituality and my faith. And I feel like this is so important because I'm not going to lie, I do feel like it's one of the reasons why I'm at where I am today. Currently, I'm filming this podcast from an absolutely gorgeous villa in one of my favorite places, Bali, and I have to pinch myself. I woke up today and I'm like, I love my life. I love who I am and I love what I'm doing. And I love this world that we're in. And Lord knows that was not me. Literally like 4 or 5 years ago, I could not have said that. And spirituality's played a huge part in my life in regards to it. And even if you're listening and you don't want to become spiritual, you think it's woo-woo, which Lord knows I did back in the day. We'll get into that. Even if you think it's a little woo-woo and you don't want to become spiritual, you can still listen to this and hopefully it gives you some insights on how to create a life that you actually feel blessed to have, that you feel grateful for. And hopefully my steps you can implement in your own life potentially to get a life that's more in alignment with you and make you feel more alive, because that's at the point where I'm at right now. Is when I first started my spiritual journey, I didn't even know it was a spiritual journey, you guys. I was just so down bad that I was looking for anything to fucking help me. I was so lost and so scared. And that's where my spiritual journey started. Back then I didn't know it, but since then it's progressed into something super, super beautiful, and it's got me to where I am at today. And like I said before, I love where I'm at today. So hopefully from my story, if you're curious about spirituality, please listen and maybe it'll help you on your path. At the same time though, even if you're not, hopefully you can get some insight on how to move forward, that there is hope at the end of the tunnel, that there is light, and that you can have a life that you really, really want. And you just have to decide so for yourself and start taking some steps. And maybe my steps will help you take your next step. So thank you guys for listening to my story. I hope it offers some insight. But to get started, we are going to start with what spirituality means to me right now. And many people listening might think spirituality means something like, oh, I believe in these weird gods, or I'm super woo-woo and I believe in like manifesting and sitting still and not doing the work. And I don't even know where to go because I feel like there's so many cliches around spirituality. Because like I said before, Lord knows I was even like, what the fuck is that? But to me, spirituality, it's not a religion. It's not something necessarily that you have to practice every day. It's a way of being. To me, spirituality now is knowing that everything's going to work out exactly how it's supposed to, that I have faith in myself and in this world. And it's a sense of calmness where when you move forward with intention and you don't sell yourself short, or you don't sell your soul for things that people are telling you to do, everything's going to work out exactly how it's supposed to, as long as you stay true to who you are and you do what's good for everybody, including yourself, the good of all and the harm to none. To me, spirituality is it's a knowing. It's a way of life. It's a way of moving forward. It's being a good person, having faith, and waking up every day realizing how big of a blessing it is to be here. You woke up with your heart beating, your air in your lungs. You've got, like, we're literally just ants floating on a big pebble in a vast universe. Do you know what a miracle it is that you get to wake up every single day and have these human experiences? That's kind of the point where I'm at with my spirituality. It's not something I necessarily preach. It's not a religion. I do believe that spirituality is part of many other religions, but there's no rules here, you guys. To me, spirituality is kind of like you make up your own rules because this life is here for you. And that's a brief overview. I'm sure you're going to get a little bit more insight throughout my story. But to start off, how my spiritual journey began is, oh my gosh, I want to say it was probably about 4 or 5 years ago. And once again, I didn't even go about trying to become a spiritual being, trying to look for enlightenment, trying to fix everything. Actually, I was trying to fix things, but I went about just trying to make myself feel better. At this point in my life, I was out of Actually, no, let's backtrack a little bit. My spiritual experiences first started when one day I was in a long-term relationship. I was in a relationship for 6 years. And dude, we kept having the same fights over and over again. Like, nothing new. Trust me, in this relationship, there were definitely like big fights, big fucking fights. I'm not gonna lie. I got a bottle smashed over my head. Like, his family was not the best. I'll be honest with you also. Like, I definitely played my part in it too. I was insecure in myself and I stayed for fear. And I was just in a long term relationship that wasn't serving me. And we were having one of the same fights we've had for the 50th time. I was sitting in our guest bedroom laying in bed. There was nothing new to this day. I've lived this day multiple times, but for some reason I was laying in bed and I heard something clear as day in my head. It wasn't anything too loud. It was like a little voice, like somebody just whispering behind me, like a friend was maybe sitting in the room with me. And the voice said, "You don't want this." And it was just clear as day. And I was kind of just like, I thought about it for a moment. You know what? You're right. I don't want this. I actually listened to that voice and responded. I got up, went in the other bedroom, talked to my significant other, and was like, I'm leaving tomorrow. Nothing he hasn't heard before. He's like, okay, whatever, fine. The next day, I got up, I went to the store, I got boxes, I packed my shit, and I left. And it was all because of a little voice. Yeah, the situation wasn't the best, but it hasn't been the best for years. So all of a sudden, I just decided to listen to that voice, and I decided to change my life. At the time, I didn't know that was my intuition. I didn't know that might have been like spirit speaking through me or like the trajectory that I chose for my life. But I just decided, I'm like, fuck it. Like, I really knew I had to listen. So I left despite everything in the external world telling me it was going to be difficult. I loved this man. I genuinely loved this man. I grew up kind of in a chaotic household and I was so scared that nobody else was ever going to love me. But despite that fear of feeling like nobody else was ever going to love me, I still left. Because by staying in that situation, I wasn't loving myself. So I feel like that was also one of the first acts of self-love that I have done in a long time, if not ever. And we lived together. In my mind, too, I was in a very much a lack mindset back in the day. I had a decent job, but it wasn't nearly the amount of money that I'm making right now. Trust me. I also, growing up, paid for everything myself. Like, my parents would give me a little bit of money here and there, but I had a job since I was 15 years old. I was working 3 jobs at one point in my life. And I was a petty pitcher. I thought it came from a scarcity mindset where I saved so much money. Like, I would deny myself luxuries if it meant putting money into my bank account. So I was sharing rent with my boyfriend to go live with my mother temporarily until I found a new place. In my head, I was like, oh my gosh, it's going to be kind of hard to find a new place. Like, I'm going to have to drop more money because I'm not living with somebody else. I'm going back home to temporarily live with my mother, who love her, don't like her. We don't really get along. I was in my early 20s at this point, and I'm like, damn, am I really going back home to live with my mom? Which was something that I fought for so long to get out of that living situation. But I'm like, you know what, Christina, have faith. Trust the process. For some reason, I was telling myself this even though I didn't believe it. It's going to work out. You're going to figure it out. You're going to figure it out. So I did that. I packed up all my shit, despite everything that was going on, despite all the fears, the insecurities, and also this man kind of being like, wow, 6 years down the drain. I left, and I decided to just take a beat and relax. I went to go visit my sister in Florida because I'm like, Christina, you need space. Like, you need it. I do believe that definitely when you take space, it helps you see the picture clearer because when you're in the frame, you can't see it. I went to Florida to hang out with my sister, and while I'm in Florida, I get a call. This was literally like the same week I left, maybe the week after. I get a call from my best friend. I'm talking my very best friend, you guys. And she's bawling her eyes out. I've never, maybe once in our entire like 7 years of friendship, now it's ongoing over a decade, have heard this woman cry, seen her really be emotional at all. And she's not good on the phone. So I'm like, who died? And she said, I just found out that my husband is cheating on me. She owned the house that they lived in before their marriage. She's like, I'm kicking him out. I don't want to live alone. Can you move in? Even talking about it right now, I get chills. But in that moment, I was like, obviously extremely upset and distraught for her. But I was kind of like, what the fuck is going on? What are the chances that after me leaving my extremely long-term relationship, having to go back home, live with my mother, and not knowing where I'm going to stay, my best friend finds out that her husband's cheating and she's single now at the same exact time. Literally, like I said, my best friend. And she's asking me to move in with her. I get to live with my favorite person on this earth after an extremely difficult, scary situation just arose. Right away, I'm like, girl, say less. I am there. So when I get back from Florida, we are now living with each other in her home. She's charging me like nothing for rent at all. She's like, I'm just happy you're here. I think I was honestly giving her like $400 a month, which was nothing. Justine, I fucking love you so much. Like, you are actually my godsend and everything in life. And you're one of the reasons why I'm here today doing the things that I do. So thank you. Have to leave that side note. But I digress. So now we're living with each other and things seem like we're on cloud nine for a minute. We're both healing with each other. We're both rid of these burdens for now. We're honestly, I'm not going to lie, partying a lot, going out, meeting new people. It's exciting at first. Like, you get that high, but then eventually reality settles in. And there was a point a few months after that where I'm sitting in my bedroom at her house and I just am in another dark place. I miss being in a relationship because when you're in one for 6 years and you still haven't harnessed the value of loving yourself and being okay being alone and enjoying your own company, it's really difficult after 6 years being with somebody 24/7 to know who you are. I didn't know who the fuck I was. So I felt an empty void in my life. And I started experiencing anxiety and depression and just seeking everything external to make me feel better. Like, I remember after a shift at the hospital, was working night shift at the time. After a shift at the hospital, I would come home at 7 a.m. and say, like, I'm too anxious to even fall asleep. Like, I invite people over and drink to put myself to sleep. I was going on dates with men trying to convince myself that, like, I liked some of these men that I knew I didn't like just because somebody was better than being alone. And I was just so fed up with myself. I even started talking to a therapist at the time. And of course, this traditional therapy, which I knew back then wasn't my favorite, they just wanted to prescribe me pills. And by all means, if that works for some people, that's great. I've never been one for pills. And they prescribed me Klonopin at the time. I'm like, why not? If it helps my anxiety, fine. And that was like a low for me because I never want to be at a point in my life where I have to numb myself from my life to feel okay. No, I believe now in working through it. And that's what I kind of wanted to do at the time, was work through it. But I was so down bad. I'm like, any little thing that'll help me, please. I'll take it. So me and my best friend were at, what were we at? Sam's Club one day, and I saw a book, and I've always just loved reading. That's something that I always have loved. Stopped it for a while I was in school because, you have to engross yourself in that type of learning, but I saw a book by Matthew McConaughey called Green Lights, and I don't know why. I was like, I'm just going to buy this book and read it. And that was one of the first quote-unquote self-help / spiritual books that I read that changed the trajectory of my life. And even in the book, he's like, this isn't a self-help book. I don't even think he meant it to be a spiritual book. Maybe he did. Maybe he is spiritual. I feel like he is. But that's what I got from it. And he kept saying in this book, like, have faith. He's like, I just live my life by looking for the green lights and responding to the red ones. And after reading that book, I was like, I'm going to start listening to the green lights. Now, a few years later, the green lights to me are spirit, their divine guidance, their intuition guiding you. But he's like, look for the green lights. Look for the things that look like they are pushing you in the right direction. Look for the things that seem like they're easy and they're offering themselves to you. Let life happen to you is kind of what he was saying. And whenever you do meet resistance, which is a red light, like, sit there, realize that, and stop forcing shit. So I started following the green lights in my life. And one of the green lights that popped up was I had an amazing, I still have him. I love you, Hamza. I have an amazing friend who kept pushing me even before I was out of my relationship. He's like, Christina, why aren't you travel nursing? What are you doing? Like, why are you staying at a hospital? They pay you shit money. The working conditions are bad. Like, come with me. He's like, let me show you the light. And I was kind of curious even when I was in the relationship and then out of the relationship. I still kind of like in the back of my head, but I was scared. I'm scared to leave the unknown. I'm scared to go out there and travel the world and work in different hospitals. I don't know what their life like. What if I fuck up? What if I don't meet people? Like, there's so many things that could have happened. What if I can't find a job because I have to quit this job in order to find a contract? What if I quit and I can't find a job? There were all these things going on in my head. And finally, Hamza asked me again. He's like, Christina, it's COVID time. Let's go, baby. Let's go make this money. Finally, I just like sat there with myself and I'm like, what am I doing? I don't like my current situation right now. And this opportunity is being presented to me. It keeps coming to me, and I'm getting to do this with amazing people. I don't have to do it alone. I have friends coming to me saying, come with us. We are here to help you. We are here to support you. We are here to show you a cool thing about life that's going to elevate you. And I was denying myself that out of fear. So after reading Matthew McConaughey's book, I was kind of like, I'm going to say yes. And I decided to travel nurse. And now going back to looking at it, I'm like, if Justine never invited me to live with her and I had a lease, I would have also felt burdened to still stay in Chicago. The way I'm huge on reflection when it comes to spirituality, when it comes to anything in life, realizing your progress. And it seems like everything in my life now has been set up to bring me to a new place. Even if you don't see it in the moment, it is directing you into the right situation. It's opening up an opportunity for the future. So I was like, wow, I don't have a lease. I don't have to break a lease. I don't like my job right now. I'm getting beat to fucking death at the hospital, making like zero money during COVID time. You're right. What am I doing? I have this opportunity in front of me. I'm going to fucking take it. So I leave and travel nurse with these amazing people, and that changed my life also. We were on the road, and it's so weird because I think also around this time with Matthew McConaughey's book, I read The Secret, and The Secret is kind of a book about manifesting your life. It's believing what you want is possible and start acting like what you want is possible. Start envisioning what you want is possible. So I also remember too, around this time, Florida's like a second home to me. My sister lives there, my dad lives there, and I'm like, I want to live somewhere warm and tropical. So before travel nursing, I envisioned someplace tropical, and when we were trying to look for a location to go to, Florida was in desperate need of nurses. I was like, let's find a contract in Florida. We found a contract in Florida, lo and behold. And I'm like, I want to live on our street where there's just palm trees lining it. So I would envision palm trees lining my street that I am driving down. And that's kind of the street that I manifested in Orlando when we got the travel contract, as well as in my street in LA. I can't tell you how many times I'm driving down these streets now, and I'm like, wow, literally palm trees both sides, tall as fucking skyscrapers. Maybe not so, but it's what I envisioned in my head, and it's what kind of came true because I had faith that it was possible. But back to now, we're travel nursing too. I think for the first time I let go of my control of money when I quit my job. I let go of the fear of not having enough. Yeah, I do believe in planning things out. You better believe that I looked at my savings and I'm like, okay, realistically, if I never find a job for like X amount of time, am I good? I literally calculated in my savings how long I can go without a job before I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna hurt. But that never had to happen. I let go of my fear. I let go of my lack mindset and just decided, I'm like, I'm going to take this risk and go. We went to go travel nurse. You better believe that my bank account went up. I was feeling so incredibly abundant. And once you start getting money too, it really programs your subconscious. Once you start experiencing life and living it, which is what I was doing, it's so weird. Like, I was gratitude all the time. Even before knowing the gratitude practice, I was just so excited to be alive and so excited to be here and so excited to be experiencing these things. And I'm like, wow, I went from like heartbroken in Chicago, depressed and anxious, to now I'm in sunny Florida making a fuck ton of money, surrounded by friends that I love every single day. And my sister is literally a 2-hour drive away, and I would go visit her on the weekends and go on the boat with her and her friends. I'm like, life is fucking good, and I felt good. And I do believe that when you feel good too, good things come to you. I just felt like at that time in my life, it was such a horrible time for so many people. Like, COVID was going on. I'm not going to lie. It was rough work. It was very rough work. But I was so grateful to just be there. I was experiencing so many cool things. And then another moment for me to step up into my insecurity came, and they're like, Christina, we're leaving this contract. There's another opportunity in Texas. It's paying more money. Like, we're going. And part of me is like, I need to break a contract. What? I was a little bit scared, but I'm like, I trusted them. And then we went to Dallas and I made even more money there and met even more cool people. And that was when also I started meeting more people outside of my friend group. This new contract we took, they split us up. We were in the same city, but we were at different hospitals on different shifts. So I had to get out of my comfort zone and start meeting new people in a new city, in a new line of work. I didn't have my friends there to comfort me this time. So this is where I started gaining more confidence in myself and loving who I am being alone. Once you take space from any situation, I feel like it gets easier, you guys. Time does heal a lot if you allow it. If you stop fixating on the past and focus on the present and where you're at right now, like you really start to learn to love yourself and where you are at. But if you're constantly living in the past, ruminating on the past, reminding yourself of the past, you're not actually here in the moment. You're never going to move forward. You're never going to gain the confidence. You're never going to gain experience. You're never going to learn to love yourself again if you're constantly just living in a situation that doesn't exist anymore. That energy, that frequency, that situation you're going to continue to live over and over again. And if you don't like it, you have to change different. So I feel blessed where I got myself out of the situations that were reminding me of my past. I was in a whole new environment surrounded by a bunch of new people, and it really helped with the healing process. And during COVID, then when we were in Dallas, I met some of the best fucking people that I ever met independently on my own. And that validated then a belief now that I'm like, oh, wow, I can make friends, new friends from different parts of the world and different backgrounds and different cities. I'm not limited to the people that were in my hometown, which is what I thought I was. And that's why it kept me stuck in a relationship that was not serving me for so long. That's why it kept me in an environment that was not serving me for so long, is because I genuinely didn't think there was anything else out there. But me just deciding to have faith and going on this journey, I realized I'm like, oh my gosh, when you choose yourself, life chooses you. When you believe something, oh my gosh, it's possible. I believed that I'm like, okay, I'm going to figure it out as I go. And I figured it out as I go. And opportunities came my way. The green lights kept coming. So I met some amazing people in Texas, and I guess that's where a year or two later, now I'm in a completely different situation. I'm happier. I feel more independent. I feel like I've created a life that is my own and not somebody else's. I feel like I've created a new world so I don't have to live back in that old world. And I have abundance. And it's funny that when you actually start making more money, you start to feel safe. And when you feel safe, the world opens up for you. And from that too, what I've learned recently is even if you don't have a lot, because I know there's some people sitting at home that might not have a lot of money right now, that might not feel like super secure within themselves, but you guys, like, you can try to create those feelings right now so you can attract it also. Like, be grateful for what you do have. Whatever money you have in your bank account, thank that money for being there. If you have a roof over your head, you are already more abundant than so many people in this world. So many people are living in poverty. Like, no, you might not be the top 1%, but I guarantee you have something to be grateful for. So remember that. Remind yourself how rich you are. And there's other forms of richness. There's rich in life, which I was rich in life at that time, and rich in money. Remind yourself how rich you are, and that is going to continue to multiply. The outside is a mirror of how you feel internally. So even if, quote unquote, to societal standards, you aren't rich, if you start to feel rich, guess what, honey? I'm a firm believer that's going to come to you because that's what it did for me. It came to me. So now we're done with our contract. The dust is kind of settling in my life. I went back home after working for FEMA 3 months. You guys, I was working 72-hour work weeks. It was 12-hour shifts, 6 days a week. I did that for 3 months. Got my bread up, got my bank up. Loved every second of it because I knew what I was doing. And I knew why I was there. My intention was like perfectly aligned and in place. I was having fun while I was doing it. I knew my purpose and I was hustling, even though my body was kind of like, oh my gosh, Christina, take a nap. I was still energetic and still happy to be there. And I feel like that the underlying tone you do things with too also is what keeps you pushing, keeps you going. But after 3 months, me and all my friends decided to go home for the holidays. It's around Thanksgiving, Christmas time. We're like, take a break. That's when my spiritual journey also decided to open up a little bit more, as I'm like, wow, I'm fully abundant now and I don't have to like work. I took 3 months off just to chill with my family, relax, feel safe, and enjoy my life. And that's when I realized I'm like, you don't have to be miserable in life. Like, we're not here to be miserable. I believe now, at that moment in my life, the thing that I learned was work smarter, not harder. And educate yourself. If you have time to complain, you have time to educate yourself. If you have time to scroll on TikTok, you have time to educate yourself. If you have time to go out and drink on the weekends, you have time to educate yourself. I had all the time in the world to party if I wanted to, and I didn't want to anymore. I wanted to do better. I wanted to grow because I saw my life growing around me. So I took that time to just like read a lot of books. I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, which is a great book, to be honest with you. I read some investment books, and that just changed the trajectory of my life, learning to relax, learning that I'm safe, learning that you deserve to have a life that you love. I'm over here where I'm like, wow, I got rid of all the fucking bullshit this year through leaving a relationship, through leaving my job that honestly was fucking killing me, to trusting the process. Like, I let go of control and just allowed life to guide me, and it's brought me to the most beautiful places, and I'm safe and I can do amazing things, and that's what that taught me. And from there, then I'm in Florida again. Oddly enough, I'm in Florida for New Year's, and my friends are like, it's time to go back to work, let's find contracts. So I'm sitting in Florida, and my friends find a contract. They're together, they call, they get in. There's never been a time where like people call at the same time and mention friends and you can't get with each other, it seems like. Even if they split you up to different hospitals, you can usually get with the same company. I kept calling. They even gave me the number of the person they were calling, the email. I could not get through. They were on their way back to Dallas? No. They were on their way back to Texas. And I'm sitting in Florida and I'm like, fuck, I can't get in. They have a job now. They're going back to work after 3 months and I don't. And old Christina would have said, fuck, maybe it's time to look for a staff job. Maybe it's time to like take the next contract that comes to me. But I'm like, nah. I sat there with myself. I'm like, I'm gonna be cool. We're okay. We're supported. We're abundant. We don't gotta stress. I decided not to stress. I decided to enjoy my time in Florida, that I was there, as well as while I was in Florida. I'm like, where do I want to go? Where's someplace I've always wanted to go? California. I've always had like this dream of going to California, but I don't know why I haven't gone there. Why haven't I? I think deep down I was kind of scared because I think my intuition actually knew that I would never leave. But old Christina was scared of that because that means that's something different, even though now I'm not scared. So I was like, let me look for contracts in California, even though that's not where my friends are. Literally within like, I want to say an hour of me applying to a contract in California, one of the highest paying contracts that I've found, they call me and they're like, can you be on a plane in a week? What? It just worked out. I'm getting chills right now talking about this too. It worked out too easy for me. Too easy. So I'm like, green light, looks like I'm going to California. I'm not even going to lie also. On my way home from Florida to pack my shit, then leave to go on this next contract, I was like bargaining with myself. I was on the plane and I'm like, if this plane has turbulence, that's a sign I shouldn't go, right? Like, what if this? What if that? Like, I'm going to California. I don't know anybody out there. Not a single fucking person in California at all. I'm like, I've never lived there. I don't know the good areas. I don't know anything about it. What? I was bargaining with myself, but deep down, part of me knew, Christina, you're still going to do it. You're still going to go. I think the reason why I was so inclined to go on this contract to California was because it was only a month long. It was still me stepping out of my comfort zone, but I made it as easy as possible on myself to step out of my comfort zone. And that's it. I left and I went to California, and I'm not going to lie, like, I had a Turo rental car for a month. I booked a very, very, very last minute Airbnb, and I was driving around waiting for my Airbnb to be ready because it wasn't ready when I landed. And there was something about California. That was the first time I experienced energy. I was just driving around. I think it was around the Marina Del Rey area, Venice area, waiting for my place in downtown LA to be ready. Looking around, I was just in awe. I felt good to be there, and I was only in the city for maybe 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes. And I was excited, and I felt calm, but energized. And I knew within the first like hour of me being in LA, I'm like, I really don't think that I'm leaving for a while. Did I go ahead right away and start booking Airbnbs for the next year, finding a permanent place? No, I didn't. I still wasn't in tune with listening to my intuition. I still was learning how to do this. But like reflecting back now, I'm like, wow, I actually really knew the first hour I landed in California I was not going to leave for a while. And My first day in California was absolutely freaking crazy. I'm going to end this podcast episode right now and give you guys a part 2. So please listen to that, because if I could tell you the rest of my spiritual journey through LA and California, we're going to be going for another 30 minutes, and I don't want to make this an hour episode for you guys, but that is kind of my experience with letting go of my old life, stuffing into my new life, and implementing the power of intuition and green lights and red lights, and believing in something bigger than myself is at work. When Justine called me and said, I need you to move in, to me, I was like, divine timing, huh? God, whatever this is, like, thank you. It was just planned. Everything was just planned too perfectly for me to not believe things are working out for me, that life wants good things to happen to me as long as I want good things to happen to myself. That is the lesson from this part 1 of my spiritual journey, you guys. Please listen to part 2, because this is where all the definitely woo-woo stuff comes in. This is where LA was such a growing point for my spirituality and my self-trust, because it opened up my mind to so many modalities that where I'm from, which is like the Midwest, East Coast, I feel like might not be too informed on. It might not be too relevant there. Like, California definitely has an energy and people who are more grounded and in tune with their intuition, I feel like. It's just more readily available out there. And I'm going to share with you guys in part 2 some of the experiences that I've had. And I can't wait to tell you guys about my actual first day in California, because anybody else would have said that was your first day in California, I would have ran for the fucking hills. I would have left right away. I ended up getting harassed by my first Airbnb person out there and didn't have a place to live for my first 3 days. But I digress. I hope that this was inspiring. I hope you learned something from my journey, and I cannot wait to share my other journey in part 2 with you guys. Please reach out if you have any questions. I am extremely grateful for you guys for listening and supporting me, and I genuinely hope you are having a fabulous day. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time, I love you.